And welcome into the beautiful Grand Traverse Resort. We got the 18th of the Bear, world famous Bear behind us right now. The rain's coming in, so we decided to move the show up. And of course, we have the usual suspects, great Dave Kingpin Rieger. But we also have, speaking of world famous, the legendary, now 32 seasons, Tom? Is that correct? 32?
Yeah, starting my 33rd.
So you started when you were 5, which is amazing because you're 37. But director of golf for Grand Traverse Resort. So we're all here with Dave's background. Dave, stay careful. I hear there's some possible tornadoes, so make sure you duck and cover. But Tom and I, of course, are up here at the beautiful Grand Traverse Resort. And Tom's like, we're socially distanced. What are you, about 40 feet away from me? So we're
about 30, 40 feet.
But we wanted to do a bunch of things here, aside from the fact that Dave will get involved in a second here. Dave loves golf. He's definitely better than I am. Although he knows I play very well up here. But Tom, before I say anything, you've been here, as you mentioned, 33 seasons. There's not many places on earth like this. And obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic. So people are kind of, I don't know if afraid is the right word, but they're concerned. And they don't know what to expect when they go and leave their home. A lot of people have been quarantining for months. And I thought it'd be great because how much I love it up here. Obviously, it's a place that means a lot to me and many others that golf. It's a haven for a lot of us. And I wanted to give you a chance and us a chance to talk to you about what people can expect, because I think part of the great way and why I wanted to do this today to help not just a business like this, but all businesses as we try to reopen, is to let people know what is safe and how you are taking the measures to keep things safe, so we can go out and have a Ryder Cup format like me and Jeff Lesson and our friend the show and Mrs. Show are having. We're up 2-0, by the way, me and Ken Lesson. So Tom, I think that's important to talk about. Just to start here, what is the most important thing someone watching right now or watching the replay of this that wants to golf, that loves the Bear, that loves the Wolverine, loves the resort, and they're a little concerned about coming up? What do you say to them?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that there are protocols that we can take and put into place to make everything safe. So, and we've done that, in many different ways, making sure that not only is the staff here safe, but the golfers are safe as well, and provide the experience that we can. Again, we're working with the governor's orders and such, and so there's some things that we can and can't do. But one of the things that we can do is keep everybody safe. So we're sanitizing the golf cars, for instance, after each use. We have a nice peroxide sprayer that goes on there, making sure that those are the golf cars are sanitized between each use. Also on the golf course, we're not putting the rakes in the bunkers. And I know a lot of golf courses are doing that as well. So you're just smoothing it out with your foot, and you should have a perfect lie every time you go in the bunker. If you don't, it's your own fault for not using the right foot rake. How many of those did you have today, Dan? Do you have any of those today?
Yeah, just a couple. I did, Dave, you'll love this, because Dave knows I always play very well up north. And for those who don't know, I'm a 21 and a half handicap, but I'm getting better. But Tom revealed to me yesterday, Dave, I told you this, I had like a 25-footer off the 4th on the Bear for birdie. It hit this. You guys have great, Tom. One of the other things you guys are doing, you have these things where you can actually pull the ball out of the hole without touching anything. And it hit the metal part of that, and it was a birdie. So, Dave, once again, the squatch comes through. But, Dave, I know how much you love golf. That's why I was excited for us to do this show together with Tom. Dave, you've been up here a lot, and I know that you want to be able to golf. You're someone that, people are watching right now, concerned about trying to come up to a place like this. What would you ask Tom, Dave?
I would just wonder, I'm not so concerned while on the course. I'm just concerned about the clubhouse, getting your, you park, getting your bag to the cart to before the round starts. What are you guys doing to keep social distancing in the clubhouse, in the parking lot, or before the actual round starts?
Right, that's a good question. So currently our bag attendants that have always traditionally carried the clubs and cleaned the clubs and carried the bags, because we're really big into service. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that at this point in time, but hopefully sometime soon. But our staff is wearing they're wearing gloves. They're wearing masks if they have any kind of close contact within 6 feet of each other. Or within 6 feet of a guest. So the golfers are carrying their own clubs and putting them on the bag rack. We'll bring over the golf car for them. our attendants are all wearing, like I said, they're wearing gloves. So when they get in a golf car and drive it over, everything's still remaining to be sanitized. So they're taking that precaution. In the golf clubhouse itself, we've rerouted people. So we have one entrance. We normally have 4 entrances to our pro shop. We went down to 1 entrance, and then with 2 exits, and then we've locked 1 door closed all the time. So we are creating the proper flow to make sure that we're keeping that proper social distancing. And then we're also we're limited to the number of people that we can have in the golf shop, and that's 10 right now. So we can have 10 people in the golf shop at one point in time. So that's the other thing that having only 1 door helps us out with. So we've got plexiglass up at the counter as well, keeping that distance and that barrier in between when you're checking in for golf. So we've done a lot and done everything that we need to do to make sure everybody's safe.
And by the way, there's not many views that I like better, just so I can back away there, of the 18th, the Jack Nicklaus design, Tom. I know the rain's both coming. I don't care. I'll get wet for a minute here. But, I wanted, before we get back to anything else about what's going on up here, which is, as if people don't know, and Dave, you and I have been up here, many watching, I'm sure have as well, but those that haven't, you talked about, your customer service, Tom, and the people that are normally taking the bags and everything. I'm not just saying this because I come up here all the time, and I've been coming up here for years. There's not many better places I've ever been, or it's equal to anything I've ever seen as far as what the people do up here, how nice they are. How I was just talking to one of your head, bad guys that's been here for years that just love what they do. And that's why, obviously seeing you is always fun, but just the atmosphere up here. And that's why I think it's so important for people to know that, yes, it's going to be a slow reopen everywhere. But golf's a beautiful game. You can do it safely. There's people that are staying high right now. People are wearing their masks. They're being, socially distanced, but they're also having fun. And just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean you can't support businesses you love, but also have fun. And if you're doing it safe, Tom, that's really the key to getting through this right now. And I think it's important that we do whatever we can to keep businesses like yours and others around the state, around the country, around the world alive, because they mean so much to so many.
Right. And that's how, again, the key message is that people can do it and they can do it right. And like we're doing it here, and not just at the golf shop, but over at the hotel. And now we've opened up our spa. We opened that actually today. The health club opened up, the pools, the outdoor pools opened up on Monday. We've got our indoor pools opened up as of today. So there's a lot of things that here at the resort, and not only here, but other places, they're doing it the right way. And when you talked about service, the service, we're still going to do what we need to do to make sure that the guests are taken care of. Genuine service. That's what we always think about here at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, is that the staff here is really committed to providing that genuine service, and they do it with a smile, and they do it because they love being here. I mean, look at this. This is my office. It's not so bad.
Doesn't get much better. I have to, by the way, move a little under the pavilion right now because it is starting to rain. And I don't care to play in the rain. That great scene of Caddyshack, guys. I'm having the round of my life. I've had some of my great rounds in the rain. Dave, you're someone that we've talked many times on the show. You love golf. People know you love golf. And yes, you're better than me. It's the only thing in life you're better than me at, which is fine. And being a Broncos fan, I'm a big Broncos fan. But Dave, I know how much you love golf. And what are your feelings of the Bear, the Wolverine, the Spurs? I know Spurs Goose is what I call it. You've played it a lot of times. What have your memories been of playing up here?
Well, number one, I know to stay out of every bunker on that Bear course. I know that. Any bunker you have to walk down steps to get into is something I don't want to be in. But the question I had for Tom was, with unfortunately the courses haven't had a lot of play because everything's reopening. They got to be in just great conditions right now. The courses just have to be just in perfect shape right now.
Yeah, they really are, and we had actually our play has been pretty solid so far, which is a blessing. We've been very well supported by our membership here. We've got a great membership base. They're bringing guests out. The locals have really supported the club, which again, the Traverse City area has really promoted that as well, taking care of the Traverse City people. So we've had a lot of support, but the play is down a little bit, but the golf courses are fantastic. Paul Galligan, he's our director of golf and grounds maintenance. Seth Britton is the superintendent, and he's got a very veteran crew that goes out there on a daily basis and does what they do best, and that's manicure the golf course to a pristine condition.
Yeah, it was pretty nice, Tom decided to block the Bear for us for like 30 minutes each way yesterday. The course starts off, a guy like me attacking it around. What we need is much better possible. But I did shoot Tom. You watched, he actually incredibly safe. later than he should have. To see us walking off like 6:30 of the 18th. Tom, you even gave me a compliment. Very nice of you. My approach shot was solid. I think it's the first time I've ever had a compliment.
I personally was impressed with that approach shot. I saw you hitting there and you're standing over the golf ball, and then all of a sudden, bam, there it is. There's that Dan Leach swing that no one else can replicate. But it is on the green.
It's very Charles Barkley-esque, isn't it? Yes.
Oh, better than Barkley. Davis seen me play some incredible golf. He's also seen me play some really terrible golf. We got to get Dave up here soon, too. Tom, I wanted to ask you just non-GTR questions, just about golf and how much you love it. Growing up, who is your golf hero if you had one?
A golf hero. You know, I'm older than I look probably, or who knows.
Age 38.
I always loved watching Johnny Miller play golf because he was so competitive that I was a fan of his, watching him go up as I was growing up and watching him play the game. Had a lot of respect for his game and his competitiveness. So Johnny Miller was my guy growing up.
He was awesome, and he was a great, obviously, one of the great, I think, golf broadcasters, one of the great sportscasters of all time. He did it for years. When did you start playing? And what was the greatest round of your life? Much like that Caddyshack.
Oh my gosh. Good questions. I didn't start playing until shortly before I started working here. So I was in high school then. Played a couple rounds. And played at where was it? It was up at Belvedere. Was one of my first rounds there.
I watched the grow up on that.
I know. That was one of my first rounds up. Played at Agamemnon a couple times. Played at Belvedere when I was in high school and had a blast. Kind of got a little bit hooked to the game, but then I really started playing more when I got here. Up at Belvedere, actually, the second time I played up there, that was the first time I broke 40 for 9 holes, which was a big feat for me. And I did that in the young 20s. So I'm not a great golfer, but I enjoy the game. Greatest round was probably shooting 1 under par on Spruce Run. That's the only time I've ever been under par. So I shot a 69 one time. It's a par 70. Made a couple birdies, 1 bogey, and the rest were pars.
I was 1 under par after 2 holes.
Wow.
Not the best I've ever done. Dave, ever shot under par?
I've never shot under par, but I've had a couple 9s in the 30s. So those have been my I've had 1 round in the 70s for 18, and I've had a couple rounds of 9s in the 30s. Those are my best rounds.
Dave kept making around. I would love to see Dave in the early morning windy conditions on the Bear today. I think he would have shot maybe a 103.
I'm pretty sure I would have beat you, Dan, guaranteed.
I'm not saying you wouldn't. Tom, another thing I wanted to bring up is, for people maybe that never played up here, you guys have obviously had these 3 courses for a while now, but I think everyone knows the Bear. If you're from out of state or someone that maybe doesn't golf a lot, you've heard of the Bear. But the Wolverine is probably one of my favorite courses anywhere. It actually get played pretty well. And then Spruce Run, I call it Spruce Goose. For the people that maybe think that coming here is going to be too challenging, what would you say to them? Because I think that's an important part of this. I think some people I was talking to some young guys last night that are just getting into the game of golf, and they feel like some people don't realize it's still okay to play in a place like this. Maybe not for your first 5 rounds, but that there's different ways to make it fair for everyone. What would you say to someone that maybe is just getting into golf and thinks the Bear's way too tough, or thinks that these courses aren't for them because they're not good enough to play them yet?
Right. And the Bear is a challenging golf course, no doubt about that. I mean, and there's no lie. But it's nice to have 3 different unique golf courses on the same piece of property and out of the same clubhouse. So they are all very different. So when people think of Grand Traverse Resort and think of the Bear, it's challenging. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because we have the Spruce Run Golf Course, which can be challenging as well. Shoot, back in the 1980s, early 80s, when we held the Michigan Open up here, nobody ever broke par for the 4-round tournament on Spruce Run. So that can be a challenging golf course as well. But what Gary Player did and what he created out here and opened up in 1999 with the Wolverine Golf Course, it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece because it's a great complement to the other golf courses we have. It's much more playable, wider fairways, not as much trouble in front of the green, so you can spray the ball a little bit, with that swing right there. Yep. So you can spray the ball a little bit and you can be okay, which is good. And it's a little bit it's less humbling. The Bear can be very humbling. The Wolverine, the Wolverine, you can feel pretty good about your game. And, again, spray the ball a little bit, not as much trouble in front of the greens. It's a very enjoyable. And then the key is, and I always say this about any golf course you play, pick the right tees. Get rid of the macho thing. Yep, and that's okay. The whites, you can play the blues, you can play the white-blue combos that we have here. And again, we get, I would say, about 3 to 4% maybe of our play is from the tips. And because, again, we do attract some pretty good golfers that want to come up here. And, again, they're getting practice rounds in for the Michigan Open that's coming up later this year. So when they do that, they're going to, of course, play it from the tips. So the tips are a great challenge, not only on the Bear, but it's a great challenge for the Wolverine. In fact, when we held the Michigan Open and it was on both golf courses, the Wolverine and the Wolverine only played one shot easier than the Bear. So from the tips.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Wolverine. Go ahead, Dave.
They made some changes to the Bear to make it a little bit more playable friendly. Did they not?
Yeah, so when the golf course was first built, again, Jack Nicklaus was told to build the hardest golf course he's ever built by our owner at the time, Paul Nine. And he did that, followed the instructions because, again, Paul was paying him the money. But in 1990 is when we first started cutting back the rough. So it used to be where the fairways ended, it was tall rough. There wasn't a whole lot of regular rough that you see on most golf courses. So in 1990, when we held the Ameritech Senior Open up here, that was when we first started cutting the rough back. And then since then, we've actually cut quite a bit of it back. Makes the golf course more playable. We've redone some of the bunkers, so maybe they're a little bit less severe, but I'll tell you, and Dan can tell you too firsthand, I'm sure, they are still severe, but maybe a little bit less severe.
Oh, yes.
What is the
yesterday? Thank God.
what's the status of the Michigan Open? How are you guys planning for that with the pandemic still going on?
Hey, you took the word right out of my mouth. That's why you're great going.
Right. So the Michigan Open was scheduled for this week. It was supposed to happen right now, but it was postponed till the August 31st through September 3rd. So we are planning on having that event. Everything, we're thinking the golf courses, I mean, again, in the fall, it's perfect, or late summer. Conditions are going to be great. We will continue to have that event. We're looking forward to it. In fact, we're having a Pro-Am that Friday and Saturday prior, which will be great.
Tom, there's a rumor that maybe I could be on the invite list. Jeff Lessing possibly on the invite list. Is that true, or you're not getting rumor in Islands right now?
Yeah, for the record, we have discussed it. I'll stick with that.
Just a couple of friends. But no, Tom, I will say this. Speaking of Jeff Lessing, a good friend, obviously, he's hosted the longest running golf show in North America, continuous. We've come up several times down the Michigan Open, and it was here for a long time before it left and it came back. Tom, I'll tell you, as we talked about at the start of the show, the customer service you have here, all the things you discuss that go into making Grand Traverse and Bear and all these courses what they are and how great they are. The Michigan Open is one of the coolest things. I've covered PGA events, Opens, Ryder Cup, a lot of different major golf events. It is one of the coolest things I've ever done because it's amateurs, it's low, low level pros, but guys from the mini tours that are trying to make their way, and it's up close. It's very watchable, walkable, and it just gives you a good feeling about the game of golf. So I highly recommend people coming up for that, Tom. And it's like I said, it's one of the, I think, coolest events I've ever covered in a long career covering very, very big golf events.
Yeah, and this year in particular, what's made it special is that Turtle Creek Casino Hotel is actually the sponsor. So it's a big sponsor now this year for the casino to go ahead and sponsor this event, and it's a six-figure purse. So right now, I think they're talking about $110,000 purse, which is a fantastic. It'll be the largest purse that the Michigan Open has ever experienced. So it's going to be a fantastic event, and we're really looking forward to it.
All right. Before the start swirling, a couple more things I want to get to. Dave, any more questions? Legendary topic from you. I
just want to know how far away can you still hear Dan on the course while he's playing out there? Like how early in the morning is he waking people up? With his voice and screaming out on the course.
Yeah. Well, with his game, he's yelling "4" quite a bit, right? And he shouts that out.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did get a few complaints from the neighborhood and from the owners of the property, but
I figured.
Well, yeah, but you know what I did? I brought them orange juice, and they were all like, "All right, you're forgetting orange juice and muffins." Tom, before Before I let you go, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, I love coming so I have a chance to highlight what you guys are doing so people understand it is safe to come up here. They're taking it seriously. It's all about, I love the signs in the elevators around the hotel that say, safe to stay open. Because that's what we need to do right now. Not just up here, but everywhere. What is the driver safety community been like during this pandemic and leading up to the, slow and, kind of gradual reopening that we're seeing right now?
Yeah, we're fortunate, again, being in Region 6, so we were able to open up things a little bit sooner than the majority of the state between us and the UP. And, the opening went very, very well. And I think that's why the governor said, hey, they're doing it right up here. Things are good, so we can open up the rest of it. So, yeah, we're doing things, with the capacity of the restaurants at 50%. And, and Traverse City is doing a nice job obeying the rules and making sure that we're doing the things the right way to make sure it is safe. Because we do, Traverse City is a tourist town, so we do rely on not only the locals, but we rely on the guests that come up from Southeast Michigan, from Illinois, from Indiana, from all over the place. So it's important to us to do things the right way, and we are, to make sure that we do provide that safe environment for guests that come up here.
Yep, you do a great job doing that. The only thing is we got to get Dave up here. I've invited Dave many times. Sometimes he's been scared because he doesn't want to lose to me on a away course.
That's never been the case. That's never been the case.
Dave works very hard. He's had some conflicts. Well, let's get Dave up here, Tom. We'll meet a much cooler, not nearly as famous guy as me. But Dave is a pretty good golfer. But unfortunately, Tommy's a Broncos fan. So maybe you can have his bad guys lose his bag or get rid of his head covers for me, like something like that. Just try to find a way to get along. But it's a great time up there, Tom. You do a great job. You have this great job. And I just want to do whatever I can to help highlight that because this is a crazy time for all of us. The game of golf in general is very unifying. I think that people understand what you guys are doing, that you guys are taking things seriously. The second we got here, on everything. Servers wearing masks, all that stuff. And the only way we're going to continue to find a way to at least move through what we're doing to it's much safer. The vaccine, remember, is being approved treatment for COVID-19. We still have we're living is having fun, having recreation, and it's a great way to play golf. So I think that's the key right now, and why it was really important to have you let people know about this, because I think there's a lot of people that still don't think it's safe or worth it to come up and take a vacation, and I think they need to know that it is.
Yeah, the thunder broke up a little bit of that, the thunder and lightning, but yeah.
I am Thor the Thunder. But just to reemphasize, I think that it's important that people understand that we can still be safe and have fun at the same time, and that's what I want people to understand that are watching to say, you know what, I kind of want to go forward, but is it safe? Can I bring my grandparents? All that kind of stuff. I think that you got to understand that you got to situations call for certain things, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy life and be safe at the same time.
Right. The biggest thing, again, is just people doing the right thing, and it is safe up here, and we do provide that safe environment for guests. And whether you're staying in the hotel, we've redone some of the amenities in the hotel to make sure that things are safe in the hotel rooms, all the way to the pool, to the health club, to the restaurants, to the golf course, you name it. And we're doing the right things to make sure that you are safe, and that again, everyone's welcome to come on up and experience what you just did, Dan. Impressive. And if I can say this, Dave, I know you haven't taken Dan up on his invitation. You have my invitation to come up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
My invitation's only worth like $50. Tom's invitation is.
Dan,
but Dave, he would love it up here.
How many? Oh, I've been up there many times. It's a lot of fun. I do enjoy playing golf. Yes, I haven't. You're right. I haven't been up there with you. How many rain checks are you trying to swindle Tom out of? Is what I want to know.
I would never. Just a couple words because I see the rain check.
Don't give him anything for free, Tom. Nothing.
Nothing for free.
Nothing.
There's no free lunches up here.
Actually, playing with Dan, you usually get 2 or 3 extra shots because of the distraction.
There you go. I know all about it.
Our money has been wagered. Tom, keep up the great work. I really appreciate you joining us. And we'll get Dave up here. But once again, just I can't say this place, our city, this resort, going back to my days at Camp Tanuga when I was a kid, is a special place in my heart. And seeing there's not a ton of people up here yet, and that's probably a good thing for some. But seeing the smiles on people's faces, seeing people enjoying golf, and seeing what you guys are doing to keep it safe, I think it's a pretty special thing. And when I come up here, it like resets me. So I want to thank you and your staff for what you guys do. I know that I talked to a lot of people that have been up here playing in the last few days since we've been up here, and they all do the same thing. There's not many better things than playing golf in these courses and being in a city like Traverse City. So kudos to you guys. I wish you nothing but the best as we try to get back to whatever that new normal or whatever normal is going to be, my man.
Right. Well, you're always welcome, and I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, our staff works hard to make sure that, again, like we're doing things the right way and we're providing the service and, again, the great golf courses and the great experience. So always happy to have you.
Always an honor to be here, Dave. Parting shots from you, the kingpin.
Guys, just stay safe, stay dry up there, have fun, hit them straight, and I hope to be up there soon.
Yes.
That'd be
Tom,
great.
Olivia, appreciate our first location show. Even though it's late, I don't care. I'm going to go to the foul. That's okay. I'll be very but for Dave Reaver, the kingpin, the director of the Leach. Thanks for watching the Task Force. More updates from the last Leach show. Ryder Cup match to come. It's 2-0 to watch after tonight. And there's at least 50,000 yen on the match. And a bunch of pesos and money, Hong Kong dollars, rubles. We got it all. Until next time, Leach, leaving the dream. Stay safe. Take care.